Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Hello, my name is Ky Hanan. I'm the world record holder in surviving the most chemotherapy, and I'm also the cancer patient with the largest biceps in the world. Here we are today with my son, Ky Hanan.
Hello.
He's here to talk about motivation, encouragement, and whatever else we might flow into today. We're just gonna roll and flow today, just like in a jiu-jitsu type of flow, right?
Roll.
We got Luke over here. He's gonna be on a future podcast. He is the executive producer of the show today.
Well, I wanted to ask you questions about like your cancer and stuff.
Let's
and your
do
story.
it. Let's do it.
I know that you've had a lot of connections with your doctors, and you've told like stories with them. How many doctors have you had?
How many doctors overall? Well, when you have blood cancer, you generally have one main doctor. Hematologist is a doctor of the blood. So anything to do with the blood, there are specialists in. So that includes blood cancer. Oncology is mainly general cancer. So sometimes they will specialize in a certain area. So generally you have one doctor. I'm in bone marrow transplant care, which is considered probably the most intensive care in the hospital. Maybe close to it would be the ICU. Bone marrow transplant is extreme care, specialized care. So that my doctor is a specialist in bone marrow transplants and blood cancer. She's a hematologist, my current doctor. My last 3 doctors were hematologists. And before that, I had a couple of general oncologists, and I've seen many doctors along the way. So there's been many doctors, such as when I had a heart issues, I would see a cardiologist for a couple of years. When I had lung issues, I would see all sorts of respiratory staff and experts, and it's just kind of like that. I've seen a lot of doctors. When I had infections and things,
So
there's internal medicine.
Doctors for
There you go. That's right. So,
So-
when I would stay in the hospital for extended periods, I would have multiple doctors, and there was even times where I'd have a whole team of doctors coming in the room trying to figure out how I was alive still.
So I have another question. Well, sort of a story for you. What's the most like plot twist that's ever happened in your like the biggest, craziest, weirdest thing? Like you expected something and it ended up just totally flopping or something, or changing in your life. Doesn't have to be cancer related even.
Where it just happened unexpectedly?
Yeah, but it was crazy.
Oh, it was definitely when I got diagnosed. I didn't expect that to happen at all. That came out of nowhere.
How about with your cancer then?
With the cancer, during when I had cancer, the most unexpected plot twist.
Was when you said they were cancer free?
Oh yeah, when they said you're cancer free and then you got cancer again.
You know,
That would be
that's a very good question, because I would say maybe at the very beginning I was not prepared, so things were unexpected. But as time went on, I learned to pretty much always be prepared. I don't think that I caught any unexpected things. I mean, it was a little bit of a surprise. There's been a lot of surprises along the way. For example, last year I had a big surprise because I was having some crazy stomach issues. I was getting GVH in my body, which means my donor immune system gets over-revved and it attacks my body. So it was attacking my stomach. I was having some digestion problems, and it felt like when I used the toilet that it was razor blades, and it went on a long time. We tried a lot of things, so finally figured out it was a combination of cancer, GVH, and also I got a call maybe a week or 2 before I was heading into the surgery from the World Health Organization. I believe it was the World Health Organization. It was a such and such World Health Organization, and we have been working in conjunction with, I forget, the FBI or something like that, one of those things, and investigating. And we wanted to let you know you have a very serious parasite, and we are investigating it for domestic terrorism. Can we ask you some questions? And I'm like, what? I didn't know I had that yet. They found out before my doctor did. So I'm like, what is this? What kind of parasite? I'm like, am I gonna survive? And they're like, yes, this generally, you would be able to survive it with antibiotics, because you are a patient with cancer and under chemo. It may become more serious for you, but are you willing to answer questions? Yes. So I answered his questions. fortunately, I track everything I do, so I was able to go back and answer questions about where I've been and what I did. So that was a pretty unexpected plot twist, but we got through it. Otherwise, I really feel like I'm always preparing. I prepare for bad news or good news, and I don't let myself get too wrapped up. I prepare for the worst. I prepare for the best. I try to keep everything level so I'm not too surprised when stuff does come up. I like to come into my meetings with my doctor prepared with the information, so I go and track down my scans with patient rights. We don't need to wait on our doctor. We can go down there and pick up those scans. So out of the over 60 scans that I've had, I've always gone down and picked up the results either the same day or the next day, so I can go in equipped and study what's going to happen. So generally when anything is going to happen ahead, when we're having a test or I'm having symptoms or anything like that, I just go in and I study it. I study what could be the possibilities, and I prepare my body for the unknowns like parasites or whatever. And when more work you put in and the more discipline, and you're consistent every day with a plan such as cold plunging. In the winter times, I began cold plunging, and I would find some other place. Now I have a freezer where I cold plunge. And why I love the cold plunge so much, and my boys have done it with me. Ky's done the cold plunge, correct? And what was the reason? Do you know why I do it?
I think one of the new reasons now, I think you said because you had GVH in it.
Yeah, that's
burns,
true.
so.
It's been helping with, in jiu-jitsu, my skin has been getting very hot. So I've been getting what's called a GVH rash, and at the very beginning it was all over my upper body, and it's very painful and itchy. It feels like, just feels like a bad rash. GVH of the skin can become very serious. One of my close friends, Melissa, who I'd love to have on the podcast in the future, she is, I believe, the only person that I've known or that I've heard of, and I'm pretty much connected to a lot of patients in the cancer world, especially the blood cancer world. She's the only patient who survived level 4 GVH. Level 4 GVH is where you get third-degree burns from head to toe under your skin, where your donor immune system goes to help. It actually hits the skin underneath, and when it's helping, and it burns, and literally third-degree burns. When patients die of it, they've said that it is the worst type of death. You literally burn from the inside, and everything turns black and scorched on the inside. It's hard to even understand how that could happen, but it does. And nobody really understands completely how a bone marrow transplant works. I've had arguably a third bone marrow transplant. They're incredible, that stem cells, so they hit you with a whole mountain of chemo, enough to kill an elephant. And then right when you're about to die, they have the stem cells coming in, and they have extracted those stem cells either from your own body or somebody else's, and they put them into your body, and somehow they go in and grow new stem cells and bone marrow in your body, and it helps you recover from that crazy chemo, and it also goes to fight cancer. Now the good thing about GVH is that it does fight cancer as well. So that's what's been great about jiu-jitsu. We've gotten a little GVH on my torso, which Ky pointed out the cold plunge has been helping me tremendously. I do that 6 or 7 times a day on average. And one reason I do the cold plunge is because it helped me prepare. It's kind of like preparing for a fight. It's something that I didn't want to do, especially when I first wake up in the morning at 6 in the morning, and one of the first things I do is I go in and I get in the cold plunge. I immerse my head for a second, my head sticks out, and my whole body is in water that's around 34 degrees or so. And when I'm standing over that cold plunge, getting ready to do the cold plunge, it's exactly what I don't want to do, but you make yourself do it. And guess what? The rest of the day is golden. You're not going to, if anything comes up that's an unexpected surprise, now you're prepared for it. That's one of the training elements of preparation that I've learned over time, so that I can be prepared for the unexpected. So the cold plunge has just been tremendous. It can help reduce anxiety. It can get you into change your state of mind. It helps me wake up in the morning. It helps me go to bed at night. It relaxes me before I go to sleep. And there is a whole tremendous amount of benefits. It's helped me with a very high level of training, even though my immune system has been compromised. It has helped me recover from that training much more quickly. Ara has put in Epsom salts and some other plants in there. We've had mint, eucalyptus, and lavender, and some other things in there. So we're big proponents of the cold plunge.
So that's pretty cool. Like, do you think that how does the GVH help you fight cancer? Can you explain that?
Yeah, that's a good question. How does GVH help fight cancer? So it's called, GVH stands for graft versus host. So the host is the donor immune system. So you have brand new immune system. My blood type changed with the donor immune system, and your entire immune system is like a baby. All of your shots and vaccinations that I had as a baby, they were wiped out. So you start all over again. You're just completely fresh. You're like a little baby. So when that happens, you have this new immune system, but the GVH is what attacks the body. For example, when earlier on when I was in a tougher chemo, this was about 3 years ago when I was getting out of my bone marrow transplant, very difficult recovery. It takes about a year to recover from a lot of hard work. When I was coming out of that, I began to have more GVH attacks because my immune system was lower, so thus my donor immune system had to work harder. And for some reason, it started to attack my eyes, which is kind of common. For example, my friend Melissa, she made it through that level 4 GVH, and oh man, what a story. And it actually took out her tear ducts, so she can't cry, which is it's heartbreaking, and it's beautiful. We've had some amazing, and I really look forward to having her on the show. But I did lose sight in my left eye, and I started to lose sight in my right eye. So I was blind in the left eye and almost started going my right eye, and I just had to continue to work the muscles in my eye and just rest and just push through it. But it starts to attack because there was an issue there in my eye, like a system issue, a body system issue, or if I got a little bit too much sun or heat, as we talked about, or it can attack your liver, any of your organs in your body. If they start to have a problem, GVH goes in there, it thinks it's helping, but it can actually hurt them. Or in the case of my stomach, the immune system think it's going to help because our immune system is very complex. For example, I have the kind of cancer, I have blood cancer, I have is lymph nodes. We have over 500 lymph nodes in our body. Now I probably have 70% of my lymph nodes, 60 to 70% of my lymph nodes remain in my body because the cancer attacks my lymph nodes, and then they become scarred and they don't function anymore. So our immune system is composed of a lot of different things. And again, even if you talk to the highest, most studied, many generations up to the very freshest, highest specialized around the world of immune system, they know some things, but at the end of the day, they'll tell you, we don't know a lot still about how the immune system works. The immune system is not black and white. You can't just take some kale and say, my immune system is boost. It does not work that way. I guarantee it does not work that way, and the reason that I know it is because I've done it again and again in my own body, and I tested and tried it. And if you talk to any seasoned hematologist or oncologist, they will tell you the same thing. The immune system is very complex. You can't just do one thing. And in fact, what we do in bone marrow transplant, when my immune system needs to be boosted, we actually first drop it, because when you drop your immune system a little bit, like when you get sick, your body naturally goes in to fight it. So GVH kicks in and fights the cancer. So GVH does good, and then it's trying to help the body, and when it sees something that shouldn't be in my body, like the immune system wants to get out, the GVH goes after that cancer. So it kind of has really helped us lately, where we've been able to cut down and do, we're still in chemo and I still get side effects from it, but it's a lot easier relative to the other ones. It's not easy, but it's easier than the other chemos, where we can use the GVH to also fight the cancer.
Interesting.
Where do you get GVH?
Why do we get GVH? Well, somebody wouldn't have GVH unless they went through a bone marrow transplant with a donor. So it's called an allogenic transplant. And why does it happen in the body is what you're asking. They don't really, that's a good question, and they don't have a science behind it. They can't really tell you exactly why it happens. It's still a very unexplored area, and in fact, in just the past 5 years, I was pretty fortunate because there's been tremendous breakthroughs in how they treat GVH. And it's not necessarily done, a lot of cancer treatment is not necessarily done with trials. We hear about trials all the time, but it's really done with data. So the data that is out there that we see around the world on a regular basis compared with the hospital, what has worked? What have we done? Maybe a trial's been done, but does it work with the actual real live data? So we still don't know a whole lot about GVH and exactly why it happens. We just know that the immune system is so complex that if we put a new one in there and it's a little too strong, it can actually hurt our body. Let's flip the script and ask Ky Hanan. So what is your first memory of hearing that I had cancer and you understood what it was?
Well, the first memory I have of you having cancer, I didn't actually know you had cancer, but I'll tell it. So I was in the house and I get a phone call from you, and you say, "Oh, I'm really sick in the hospital." Well, I don't know exactly if you said you had cancer or something, or if you didn't want me to know or something. I don't know. So I just thought maybe he had like a cold or something, or like you were just a bit sick or something. And I said, "When will you be back?" And he was like, he said, I think he said like a few weeks or something, or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, that's a really long time. I wonder why Dad has such a bad cold. I never get that bad of a cold." Now I want a cold like that, so I didn't have to go to school or something. I don't know. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was cancer. But then and then he would always make me, like when I started going to Santa Fe in grade school, then he would always make me the lunches, and I had literally no idea. I was just sitting there like kindergarten was awesome because I went to school at 12 o'clock. Like 12 o'clock. That's crazy. And I never knew like he was like that suffering, or like when he was driving to us, I don't know if I was just stupid and didn't notice it, or if he hit it pretty well or something.
No, well, so when I was first diagnosed, you guys have no memory of that. Luke was just about 2 and you were about 3. So you guys would have no memory when I was diagnosed. So what I did is first I prayed, remember that I want to be alive for you guys, but if not, how could I be a better father than our Father in heaven? So it helped me. I thought of that every day. It was my hardest thing, is to go through that you guys and Shy might lose their dad. So I really prepared for it, and I thought about it a lot. I prayed about it. I spent a lot of time asking other parents about it, how they dealt with it, and I talked to some kids about it even, and I prepared. And what I concluded is, you guys didn't need to know all these details. They've written some books for kids about it. Nothing I saw really helps. You guys don't, just to keep it simple. So what I started to prepare you for is I would tell you things like, if I told you I had cancer, you're not going to really be able to grasp. And I probably started telling you that before you guys even knew what it was. That's why you don't have a real direct memory of that day. You just kind of grew up with Dad having cancer. So that memory of when I was in the hospital, I had pneumonia then, so I just told you I got a really bad cough, and you wouldn't have understood cancer at that time. You're only 4 or 5 that you remember that. That's pretty amazing. So that's why. But what I came up with you guys as you started to ask questions, I would just answer them as honest as I could and keep it simple and love you guys, and then maybe pray or put God in it to have my back there if I did anything that was was off base. But I really found that it's important with kids to keep it simple. You guys don't need to know a whole bunch of details when you're young and maybe get stressed out more than you should, because your mind isn't going to be able to understand exactly what it is yet. So if we can just keep it simple, and then you guys are really satisfied. You're like, okay, cool. I do remember one time, and you guys might not remember this, when I had to go into the hospital. I had a very high fever, and I could just feel in my body that it was extremely serious. It was a very rough battle, and I knew I was going to go into the hospital. I may not survive, and I did, and I almost didn't. I became one of the times I became code blue that night. When I left, though, I said, guys, I'm going to be away, and it was so hard because I felt lots of emotions, but I believe God really helped me there stay level for you guys, that I had to say goodbye to you, but you guys couldn't know, you guys didn't know how sick I was, because you couldn't have understood it anyway. So I just said, guys, I got to go to the hospital. I'll be away for a few days. They're going to help me pray. And then you know what you guys both did? You came over to me and you said the most beautiful prayer in your little voices when you first started speaking.
Hey.
Dad, we prayed for you that you will be better. And you prayed for me and you hugged me, and man, it supercharged my battle when I went in there. I fought like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, man, I can't, I know I did a little video way back in first grade or something, and I listened to it and I hear my voice and I'm like, hello, I'm Ky Hanan. It's like, what?
I love your voices every day of the year, every change that's happened, and I can't wait for what's next.
I think it was around the age of 7 or something, or 7 or 8 or something, middle of there, when we actually started sort of realizing that.
Yeah, that's probably
like, what
about
you
right.
had,
7 or 8.
Yeah, 7 or 8.
What cancer was, and asking
And then
detailed
maybe
questions.
9.
Now you're asking questions about GVH. You're up there at a professor level now.
Then I think 9 is when we fully realized, like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, he has like cancer.
My dad's
And
sick
then
and he
he's got
died.
terminal cancer.
Why do we get cancer?
That's a tough question. So cancer has been around so this is my belief, and we can see historical evidence of this going back around 5,000 years or so of cancer. They had different words for it, consumption, but even up until 150 years ago, and maybe even 100 years, and even to 50 years for some cancer, they weren't able to detect the cancer. They didn't have the same ability to test like we do now. The technology has become progressively phenomenal, especially in the last 50 years. They didn't have the ability to test that was cancer in a lot of cases. So if you had a blood cancer, that person became sick, all of a sudden the next step was the heart either gave out or they had pneumonia and couldn't breathe and they died. So people thought, they had infection, they might call it infection, and they passed on from heart failure or lung failure or something like that. The Bible says, and that's what we believe, is that after the Garden of Eden and the first sin, is that's when sickness began. And we can get really deep into why would God create sickness? Why would he allow suffering? Well, he did not. We took free choice. He gave us free choice. And sickness isn't always, sickness and trials aren't always necessarily bad. In fact, a lot of times they can become good. We've experienced a tremendous amount of blessings. We've experienced a tremendous amount of superpowers. For example, you guys aren't really afraid of death or talking about death, are you?
No.
Doesn't really bug us.
I don't know.
He's gonna sit right next to death.
I had no.
Here you go.
Nope.
Sit there. They can hear you
Didn't
fine.
have a lot of.
Luke's got a nice robust voice.
Mm-hmm.
We should have brought Luke in from the beginning, dude. Well, we'll do a couple more podcasts with you guys or whatever.
Then Luke individually. That one will be awesome. I'm gonna watch that one.
As we were talking about is death. So right guys, you have that's a superpower we've developed. We are not afraid of death. No, we don't want it. We would be very sad if we lose somebody and we have to miss them, but we are not overwhelmed by it, and it doesn't bother us to talk about it. So like we even sometimes joke around about it, and you'll see that happen. Luke wants to be a doctor. He's very geared up to work in some sort of field like that, and he's very interested in biology. We even studied the structure of a cell one day, and we were studying the T cells, and he was like, "Dad, I want to create. I see. So if blood cancer came in because there was a gap in this particular cell that is causing your cancer, I would like to be able to learn how to create something to make that cell enclosed." That was about a year ago, and I was like, "Whoa, dude! I think this guy might just come up with a cure." I don't know. Well, I will say there's never going to be one cure, but that's a whole another subject, because the cancer, it's kind of like the common cold. We hear virus we hear common cold, and now we hear coronavirus, but there isn't just one. There's a whole bunch of cancers. There's at least 50 major types of cancers. Blood cancers are completely different than another form of cancer like a lung cancer. Now there are some basic similarities in how it can spread in the body and affect the body and affect the organs and affect the system in the body, but in terms of treating them, they're very different in most cases. And there's subtypes of subtypes under each cancer, so that makes it even more complex. But good news is that the more we know and understand all those differences between the cancers, and as we continue to develop treatments, the battle against cancer will be better. So with death, with doctors or people that have to work around death a lot, sometimes it can be very difficult, but they've learned to even kind of joke around. Now, we're not making fun of death, but we had this thing from Rocky IV, if he dies, he dies. You know, it's out of our control. It's not meant to be mean, right? It's funny.
Yeah.
If he dies, he dies.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Otherwise, we're just going to keep living our life. We're going to enjoy every moment, and when there's a trial, you're either coming out of a trial, you're in a trial, or you're probably going to get into one. Hopefully that trial isn't something crazy serious, but it's part of life, and you got to just enjoy that ride.
Yeah, I think we were watching a Little House episode, and I think they had a son, right? And he got really sick, but they couldn't really understand what it was. And you said that you thought that was cancer or something. Like
It could have very well been. Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah, 'cause
you're right
they didn't
about
know.
that. Yeah, they didn't know. And in fact, today in some countries, it makes me kind of sad. They don't have the technology to test for cancer in the same ways that we might have in the United States, at least currently.
Yeah, and you were talking about how we're not afraid of death. Remember the video we uploaded? I think it was one of the final ones of our exercise videos, and it was talking about death. And we were doing exercises for when you die.
Yeah, we're just keeping a good attitude about it. No, we don't. We want to make sure we don't mock death. We don't make fun of it. We don't challenge death. We don't test death. We definitely don't want to mess around with that. But there's a quote. It says, "O death, where is your victory? O death, where is your sting? Whatever. What can death do to me?" So that's from the Bible, and it's like, dude, if you know where you're going and you're confident in your life and you have a purpose for life after death, you don't have to worry. You don't have to
'cause
worry
you know where
about
you're
death.
going.
It's a blessing. Maybe we're just kind of dumb. It's like ignorance is bliss. I don't know. Maybe we're the fools, but I would rather be a fool and live this way than live in constant fear of death. And that is what I learned along this way, and I think we all learn this, is how real God is. Now, we don't have all of the answers. We don't know. We don't even line up with a lot of churches out there. I don't know if I should say that at all, but we don't have all the answers. But on a very simple level, we've seen how real the God of the Bible is, and he's shown that evidence again and again through these crazy trials that we've been through and battling cancer and going through things as a family. So guys, Luke Hanan, what is your favorite thing to do right now? Like, if you could do anything right now, what would it be?
Ooh, there's a ton of things. Like, hang out with you, go to the pool.
We love swimming.
Call my friends. I have so
Mr.
many things.
Social.
Eat.
Yeah.
Eat,
Watch
sleep.
Watch some like videos.
Play Fortnite. I know it's Fortnite goes through your head
got
quite
I know.
a bit.
Fortnite is
a new
going-
update. It got
What
a-
about, you know what? I feel
and
bad right now.
Minecraft.
Great
Hey,
answers. Well, so
Minecraft.
with this COVID thing on, darn it, we have your gis ready to go for jiu-jitsu, and we've kind of played around with it a little bit, but I know you guys are already starting to get into it. We've been doing something in the pool called pool jitsu.
And I'm the escape artist.
He's the escape artist. Luke is the submission artist. This guy's double jointed, and this guy's super for his size and strength. How
almost
big
can't
how
defeat
how big are you, Ky? For 10 years old.
5'3".
Something like that. How
I'm
much do you
pretty
weigh?
tall.
5'3", 130 pounds of raw steel.
Jeez. Yeah.
This guy's a monster at age 10. I don't know how he's so big. But guess what? When they've scrapped ever since they were like 2 and 3 or whatever, or 2 and 1 even, when they could before they could even walk, they started scrapping with each other. Luke has always gone in to the guard, to the jiu-jitsu guard. Luke likes to lay on his back in the what's called the jiu-jitsu guard, and he literally lays on his back. Show him what you do.
So like, I land on my back and just go. Trying to, like, kick
He's
up.
done that. He'll roll around on his back. And Ky, he's so strong. He goes in and tries to get him, but it's kind of hard to get through that sometimes. His
He's
legs are
naturally
strong.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he's like nature. Well, Ky, he's so crazy strong. He really likes striking a lot. He's really strong with his strikes. Get up and show him a couple of punches, dude.
Oh.
All right.
I don't want to wiggle off the microphone.
No, nobody get scared. Don't hurt anybody. You gotta stand up, bro.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, never.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, you can't see my face.
Go ahead. Let's just do it.
alright.
Squat down more. Squat down.
Yeah, I guess squatting is
Go ahead and throw some bombs.
Bombs?
Throw some bolos.
some hooks.
Yeah, throw some. Look at these guys. There you go. Look at that, man. we gotta get Frank Ramsey. He's probably the greatest striking coach in the world in here, working with you guys to fine tune that MMA striking. Or Tim Welch, man, those guys. those guys, I thought I knew striking until I started being around them a little bit. Or we'll get Chris over here. That guy he's a future UFC next level new style striker.
Might sound a little
and then coming
louder.
up after that, it's gonna be Ky Hanan and Ky Hanan. So guys, what do you guys think of COVID?
I guess it's a real virus. It's not fake, but I think it's over exaggerated.
Yeah. Obviously.
What do you guys? How do you guys feel about not being at school? Do you miss your friends at school? Being at school?
Yeah, I miss my friends a lot, but I don't miss this class. Okay.
Why don't you guys like school? Is it boring sometimes?
Sometimes school can be boring, but I know that in the end, growing our brains.
What the
Gain
heck?
the knowledge.
So we'll brag a little bit, but Ky and Luke are pretty much always #1 on their testing for reading, writing, and math each year. So they pretty much rock it. I don't know where they got that from.
Robin is probably
It's not for
second
me.
in my class.
If I was taking school right now, I'd be getting C's probably straight across.
But
Yeah,
in like biology, if you were in college or something, you'd get straight A's.
I don't know. I did pretty good in school, but school's a lot harder now. Taking all those tests all the time and having to sit there, and I got pretty bored in school, to be honest with you. I think I don't know.
I
We
think
could
you
get off
spend
on a
too
whole
much
trail
time
of
in
why-
school.
We could get off on a whole trail of why the government, too much government is not good, because I think at this point I would rather have you guys homeschooled than be in public school. That's what
Yeah, me too.
even Grandma, a retired longtime teacher, says that she probably homeschooled. But that's, I'd like to see some changes. Instead, hopefully Daniel McCarthy wins U.S. Senate and we can start making some big changes. I think it's that battle going on right now is just going to be an extremely important battle for our future in terms of government and things.
We also have a new house coming.
We may have a new house. That's right. We had an offer accepted on a house, and it has a pool. If you're in Arizona, it's like we were like
Sure
it was almost a must this time of year when it's 110 plus degrees. It's like, oh man, we want to have that pool. Fortunately, there's a lot of pools in Arizona, so we put an offer in a house, and we're in that process. So shoot us some prayers and good vibes.
Plus,
We
we
hopefully
can-
in the future will be doing a podcast from the new house.
no time limits, and it's a diving pool, 9 feet down.
We could go. We could
9 feet.
like randomly. We could just like wake up and at any time we want, like at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like Dad would probably do this. Jump.
Cold plunge.
When we go out there and we exercise, describe our exercise and what do you think of it all? Why is it beneficial what
Well,
we do?
And my favorite word definitely had to be the soccer ones.
Oh yeah, the soccer workouts.
Soccer
I
was
love
fun.
soccer works out.
You
Yeah,
guys-
especially
you guys are good
goalie.
I
at
love
soccer.
working out my legs. That's because
The goalie ones were fun.
Because I was doing
Awesome.
squats.
You guys were doing some sprints for time. We were lifting a little bit of weights. We're going to the gym.
Ooh, gym
Don't
was
you
my
guys
favorite.
miss the gym? We were going to the
Gym
gym.
is my favorite.
So
by
what's the
far.
best part of working out?
Going
After.
after
When you're done.
eating, sleeping, and when we're done.
Yeah, you sleep better. Wait, what are the benefits? What's the benefits?
You eat better, sleep better,
Everything tastes better.
everything tastes better. You feel better.
You handle stress better,
yeah.
right?
And you get endorphins to make you so happy, and you're
And you
like,
get muscles.
you feel
So going
better.
through a little, it's always hard to go at the beginning. It feels uncomfortable. It's kind of like doing a form of the cold plunge. It's like, I don't really want to work out. You get excuses. You start to battle in your mind. And instead, if you just shut it off, remember the end of the workout and all those benefits. That's a real good motivating factor to get out there to exercise and have a workout, right? Good job, guys.
So usually our workout routine is like, go to the park, do like some basketball, then do some running, then do soccer, come home and then go to the pool to like cool off, come home and then just chill for the rest of the day.
That's awesome. And now I can't wait till we can get into some jiu-jitsu and a night on some nice mats and
Yeah.
in the Tim Welch's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA gym. And I'm already scouting out where we're going to put our mat.
Walk out like a better
What's the
person.
biggest word that you guys
sometimes
that you know, Luke? What's the biggest word you know? Give a few words that you know.
Oh, misunderstandings, like when somebody doesn't understand something,
How can we avoid misunderstandings?
by like, Dang it, I like know, but it's like sort of weird, hard to explain.
It's a tough question.
Understand something that someone else is also understanding. It's weird. I know it.
So I think what you said is basically is try to understand that person better. Try to listen, be patient with them. What do you think, Ky? What's some ways to avoid or defeat misunderstandings? Because they can be a real problem in a family.
Listen.
Listen, yeah, be a good listener. Maybe ask questions, get to know that person better.
Ask more questions. That's one of the best ways, probably. Because if you don't ask questions and you don't know what they're saying, then you're just gonna end up like, what? And then
There's a proverb of without understanding you can't have knowledge. So knowledge without understanding is nothing. So if you may have all the data and all the knowledge and memorized everything, but if you don't have understanding attached to it, what use or value is it? Wise words of the day. Sometimes they come into my brain.
I think the hardest word I know is probably the word A. It's a really hard word.
Yeah, it is.
I'm kidding. Let's see.
Got the jokester.
What do you think was the most overused word then?
The most overused word?
Blue.
What?
Blue is a pretty overrated, a bit overrated, but it's pretty
Picking on
cool.
a color.
It's a cool
Oh
color.
yeah, we said okay. Most overused word I.
I?
But we need to use it to talk.
Man, maybe we should all not use I so much.
We need to say
I think that I shouldn't use I anymore.
because it's like I don't know. Just
You know, one of the most jerkiest, jerk move I've ever heard from Sir would be, I am the most humble person in the world. Whenever he says that, it's like the...
I'm very sorry about that statement, but I am very humble, and it's difficult being so humble, but I do accept the word for having the world record and being humble, and I just
I'm so
appreciate
humble.
humbleness. I value that characteristic a lot, and I just love being the greatest humble person in the world. Yes.
I'm not bragging at all. Wow, like I'm so not bragging.
Isn't it awesome to
insane
be
for
dad
kids.
when your kids think you're big and you're strong? When you guys get older, you're gonna be like, geez, I thought Dad was big and strong. He seems kind of like a weenie. I can pick him up right now and throw him. I can submit him like 5 times in a minute. You guys are gonna be like, just remember, have mercy on your dad when you get bigger.
Never. Revenge. Revenge.
What revenge for what? Revenge from what?
I don't know. All the times he's been a jerk. Like sometimes what he does is he'll be right there. Like you can't really see it, but like there's a small hallway. Now with the freezer, it's even smaller. That you have to go through to get to the kitchen, so you can get like your water or your food or
I
something.
think that's nice.
And sometimes Sir will be there. I don't know, just standing there
It's just a
doing
test,
stuff on the
guys.
counter.
It's not mean.
And then and then you try and walk past him, and he's like blocking you, and he won't stop blocking you.
this.
And then sometimes whenever you're trying to go like somewhere, then he'll just randomly appear and block you. And when you try to go around him, he'll just move towards where you're about to go or something and cut you
This
off.
is what you need.
It's
to
like the
expect
worst thing.
This is that, guys. I'm sorry to say that's nothing. I think I was probably a little bit older than you guys. My brother Casey and I were a little older than you guys. But Grandpa Casey and I, we would literally hide when we hear the other person go to the bathroom, and then we get up and hide around the corner or something. And when that person was walking back to go sit down, we jump out and punch him right in the solar plexus, or just start wrestling him and take him down just out of nowhere. So we were constantly walking around like the house like this, covering ourselves up. Like, horrible, huh?
Your house is a war battlefield.
And then one time it took it too far. I think Casey was probably like 16 or something. He's starting to get bigger, and Grandpa had a long day of work, and he was sitting there in his easy chair with his feet up, just kind of half asleep watching TV. And Casey just came up to him and hit him full force in the solar plex. Oh man, was he mad? Was Grandpa mad?
Casey just decided out of nowhere to hit his head.
I know he felt bad, but
I thought this was a podcast.
hey, it is a podcast.
Hey.
We're just flowing and rolling, man. We're talking about different things, right? Some of these things we'll edit out. Some of them will flow right in there. Why not? A podcast, we stuck with the subject to motivate. We've talked about some serious things. We've talked about some funny stories that we remember. And we're just trying to, we just love to connect with people and share stories and just want to create a good podcast like the podcasts we listen to. These guys listen to in a form of podcast quite often for quite a while. Their generation loves watching YouTube, right? Who's your favorite YouTubers?
I actually like watching the ones that do like interesting stuff, like with they sort of do like interesting stuff with like the Minecraft games, sort of like coding it to be super crazy, and then somebody will give them an idea in their little comment thing, and then they'll sort of code it so it looks awesome, and then it's really cool. Like they change up the game. I know somebody made Minecraft in Minecraft somehow.
So tell me about this. What about you, Luke? What do you watch?
Mark Robert. He's a pretty cool like science channel.
Okay.
He makes a lot of
I
science
love that
videos.
channel. He's
I
awesome.
don't know. I'll have to check that out. I didn't know you
Didn't
guys
he
were
make like a
watching that.
drone or something? He makes cool drones sometimes.
Yeah.
Or sometimes some people just launch random cool things into space or something. It's for no reason.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
the
know why.
one person launching ice cream into space.
Ooh, I want to see that. Wait, how?
They just put it on a hot air balloon.
Oh,
Was there a freezer involved?
Nope. Just
They
it
shot
wouldn't
in that-
melt.
Is it
No.
gonna melt? Is it cold enough going through the?
Oh, I mean, space is
Stratosphere,
pretty.
atmosphere.
Space is pretty
all
cold,
the
I
way to
guess.
space, it would just turn harder into ice.
Oh
Turn
man.
more into
Okay.
ice.
Okay.
Yeah,
Basically.
true.
Interesting. Ice cream.
They took a camera up there so it was 360 vision, which was cool.
So tell me about this stuff. These guys are, first they got into animation and music production, and they're making their own animations. Ky has a YouTube channel where he's got how many followers now? Over 1,000, right? And what is your most famous post on there? Didn't you have, how many thousands of views did you
I don't
have?
know why, but all my bad stuff gets the most views. I don't know why. It's
That's okay. Hey,
It's
it's
embarrassing when you grow a channel.
Well, what was your
and
biggest
then
number?
Like 40,000 views or something.
40,000
I
views.
forget.
That's impressive, dude. He's become a pretty formidable animator on YouTube.
And then I just get
So
bored
these
of the
guys
channel.
also started to make little cartoons with animation. They use Moho as their software kit, or they use different things on their iPads. They use FL Studio to make music. They make some pretty amazing songs. Grandpa was really impressed with some songs you guys have been making. And you guys, what really impresses me lately is describe about how you and your friends formed a team or something, right? From Minecraft on a server to do coding.
Luke's gonna
Java
be
coding.
in it too.
40,000.
Can you explain what that
the idea
is?
is Minecraft has a
understand
certain a few communities that sort of make servers, and servers are like, they could be about mini games, or so that everybody can connect to them. And we decided that we wanted to form like a teamwork, and so what it requires is a developer or something, which will be me, and then a few builders so they can build cool things in there. That, like, there's some professional builds out there that I hear there's a project out there building the entire little Earth in Minecraft. I don't know how they do it, but there's a lot of cool things about it. So we decided we wanted to make our own because we thought it would be really cool, and we thought we have everybody who can do it. So I've been trying to learn Java coding. Not very good at it, but I mean decent. And then we're trying to start up a server with like Richard. This is my friend, and then some of his cousins or his relatives, and people like that. And then we need like administrators or something that'll just watch over the server and make sure everything's, or moderators or something. It's kind of complicated, but it's really fun.
Administrators.
Yeah, administrators.
Admins.
It's really fun to do.
Daddy's
Work on
head can't follow. I losing vocabulary. Feel stupid.
No. So yeah.
That's pretty impressive. Okay, guys. Well, I just asked this. Form your team and make sure to monetize everything.
Oh,
Get your
yeah.
YouTube channel out there so you can buy Daddy a. What do
Oh,
I have
whoa,
everything I
whoa.
want. I just realized that I have no. What do I want? What
We're
can I
kids.
use right now?
You could use a better camera.
I don't want a mansion. It's too much to take care of.
You need new microphones. I'm sorry.
New microphones. That's true. I'm sorry about the quality microphone.
Bad quality microphones. Sorry.
Sorry. We'll get that up to par, guys. Just give us a little time here. You know what I'd love to do is I'd love to take a trip to the Philippines. You guys barely probably remember me having that crazy rare BMW sports car, and we had cars and big house and everything like that. And I was very career-minded on, okay, I want this and I want this and I want this. And it's amazing how guys, and I feel that you guys got this gift as well, because you're not kids that are like, I want this toy, I want that toy. I've never had that issue with you guys. And I think that's one of the gifts that we receive from going through the cancer battle, because the primary thing that we really want is just for the cancer to go away a lot of the times. So it may be, hey, we're okay as long as we're healthy or whatever, we're grateful for whatever, but if you're going through a trial, it definitely can shift your perspective. I mean, if you're injured, all you want to do is fix that injury. It's the thing that you really want to focus on. So that's one thing to really shift your perspective. If you're going through a trial or you feel a challenge or there's something that you want to change, maybe what you want and what you're working for isn't really what is best for your health and what you truly want. Because right now, right guys, what would you like? I think we'd all like I think we all talked about it, that we've been saving up for, and we'd really like to get a PS5, right?
Yeah,
In
PS5.
November.
Pretty cool. I
Yeah.
thought that would be fun.
I don't know if you even remember when at one point we had really nice couches and a really nice house and just fancy. I almost felt like it wasn't comfortable to sit in there because you had to worry, like, oh no, we might spill on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now our furniture, maybe we could use an upgrade in some places, probably yes. But this couch here, for example, we've all fallen in love with it, right? Guess how much this couch costed?
How much?
It's $30.
That is.
And you know why we got it? It's
I
because
sleep on every night.
we had this opportunity, and this is where sometimes what you want isn't what is meant to be, because I'm sure happy where things have gone now and glad that the other thing didn't pan out, but we were basically given a very large cafe in the front of a big gym, and we set up it was going to be called the Recharge Center, and we had furniture. We just wanted a comfy couch and some nice coffee tables, and we're setting it up to run a business, and the gym closed. The gym suddenly closed the next week, and we were like, what the? So we had to pull everything out, and we put all this new furniture in the house, and somehow it kind of fit like Tetris, but man, it's a little crowded in here. We got 4 kids, a dog, and mommy, daddy here, so it's a little crowded, but we've fallen in love with this couch, and this is like, okay, hey, I got love for really nice, expensive things too, and nice couches. we're not, but this is awesome. And sometimes it just, maybe you want to buy you feel that you need to buy an $800 couch or an $1,800 couch, and the $30 couch I've loved this couch. It's become our podcast couch. It's the nap couch. People that have had trouble sleeping have come and laid down on this couch and slept like some of their best sleep ever. And I don't know, it's just a comfy couch. I hope we hold on to this couch.
And I'm very glad that I called dibs on this is my bed. I sleep in it every night.
He does. He loves to sleep here.
And then Luke has a pretty.
Oh man, we hooked Luke up too. We don't need to show. That's all good.
It's an epic couch. I think you could see it in many videos.
We put a pillow top on top of a couch and on top
He likes it.
Luke likes it very soft, cozy. He'll just sink right into it. He just sinks right down in there, and he's a master of coziness, I think. Tell me about Grandma and Grandpa.
Grandma and Grandpa are awesome.
Epic.
Grandma always tunes into our Church Infinities, and she's always sharing the coolest things. Like the awesomest things. They spoil us too, though.
What about Grandpa?
Grandpa, jeez, chill. Grandpa and Grandma are the coolest people. Grandpa has an epic golf. He's like, the golf cart is the coolest thing ever. We always go in it, and it's sick, and we always do stuff like go to the shop and stuff.
He only does it with the doors on.
And how do you feel about Mama Ara? From the moment she became Mama to you, what do you think about Mama Ara?
Well,
What's the first thing you said?
Well, the moment I saw her on the call, I was like, wow, is this your, like, I thought she was super pretty. And then the next day, I think it was like the next day, we come home from school, and she's in our house. Like, I didn't expect that. But she was so pretty. Like, I knew that she was going to be Mama. Like, she was going to be Mama Ara. The second. What does she do that you guys really like? What are some things?
She wrote the notes.
The notes are awesome.
All over the
and
place.
Then whenever one of my favorite things is like when she was working in the office, then sometimes she'd always play, like, she'd always hide in the room. Like sometimes when you come home from school, she'll just pop out of nowhere. Or sometimes, literally, we're just chilling and she's in the room hiding or somewhere, and we have no
She's
idea
silly.
for like 30 minutes or something. I don't know.
A lot of people, when you get to know her, you see it, but isn't she one of the funniest people you've ever met?
It's nighttime.
She's got a
I think at
crazy
nighttime,
sense of humor.
when we're
Man.
watching TV on the projector, and she's got a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
She's always so silly and
She's
fun.
sweet too. She's always cooking for you guys, cleaning up,
Yeah.
talking to you. She loves to talk to you guys.
she doesn't
You
even-
just talk for like 2 hours sometimes, I
When
noticed.
we're watching TV, to see what she thinks about the TV show, just look at her face. She doesn't even have to talk.
I know, you don't have to talk.
If she's like,
You could see
Oh
exactly
man, what did
her
we
mind.
watch last night, guys?
Bigfoot.
We have a. Let's go into our entertainment field now. We have a movie recommendation. We stumbled into
Cry Wilderness or something?
Cry Wilderness.
The funny, so I'm pretty
Ni-
sure
made in 1987.
Stranger Things ripped them off, like, completely. Like, the music is sort of synthesizer kind of, but it was, like, old. So, it was very, and then, like, there were, the kid, I swear the kid looks exactly identical to Will Byers from the
Stranger Things.
from Stranger Things. Yeah,
Well,
no,
wait,
it's not.
so we don't want to give away this epic, wonderful movie, but it was filmed in 1987, and it's about a boy and Bigfoot and the search of a tiger. And wouldn't you say that it's got a lot of unintentional humor, and it's also a pretty interesting story. You kind of want to see what happens next, but it is so it's
Badly.
so, yeah, it's so bad in some ways that it's hilarious and just very it just makes it's very cool. We
For
were
example,
captivated by this
there was an
movie.
angry guy who hit his table, but he hit it so lightly so he didn't damage the
What
props.
was the
or
dad's
something.
laugh like?
That, he was like pretending to be like
fake
a,
laughter and acting was just amazing.
it was funny. The only good actor
Bigfoot's
was
laugh
the
was
kid.
pretty cool.
But yeah, and then I mean, I think
Bigfoot, the character Bigfoot was. Just,
I think they spent a lot of money on animals and sound stuff that they didn't have enough to pay for actors. Because let's just say it was obvious that the dad was
You know
the
what?
Bigfoot
But
the whole time.
it all fit together because we had some great laughs and just incredulous, like whoa.
okay, let's
fine.
rate it. Like, did it swear?
No.
Anyone?
It was good for kids and
Yeah,
it was
it
good for adults. If you have a glass of wine or something at night and you want to kick back, we all enjoyed it.
Well, near the end, there's like a little bit of blood. Like,
That's right, just a little bit. Not
Yeah, a
bad
little
though.
Tiny
Not
bit.
bad. Not
One
bad.
about maybe a second of blood,
It's a PG movie.
a
for
tiny
sure.
bit of
It's
blood,
PG.
and then usually he covered the blood for the rest of the
Don't
movie.
worry. Yeah, don't
Yeah.
worry.
It was
Don't
at the
worry.
end.
Not good. It's if your
And
children
plus the
doesn't-
guy
What
who
would
got
we give
blood.
it? What would we give it out of? Let's I see a lot of 4-star, 5-star ratings. Let's go on a 10-point scale. What do we give it out of 10 points?
Maybe 9.7, I'd say, because there were some things that could have been
9.7.
better, but it was overall was great.
It's right there.
By
So
the
I'm
way,
gonna say about an 8 or 9, but in terms of just being you have to shift your mind and not get negative about it. You gotta watch it with somebody and make some jokes about it and talk about it. It makes it all the more fun.
by the way, just saying the blood was at the bad guy. It was his like blood, the bad
All right,
guy's
we don't
blood.
wanna
So you
ruin
don't.
it. We don't
Yeah,
wanna ruin it.
just saying, so you will feel happy.
All right,
sort of, when you
shifting
see it.
gears here. What has been our number one song? Let's give a few songs that we've been listening to on a regular basis for the last
Well, Sir likes to listen to heavy bass.
LCD sound system, Someone Great, Luke. We stumbled on that song. That's Luke's favorite song, so we listen to that song quite a bit.
or any other song.
What about you, Ky Hanan? What's your favorite song right now?
Chiptune
Chiptunes.
genre is my favorite.
Chiptunes, describe chiptunes. A lot of people don't know
It's
what that is.
very like if you listen to Mario, the original NES Mario, it's so cool. Like 8-bit, it's very underrated and it sounds so happy and upbeat. So I really like.
Yeah,
I'll
and you guys
just
have
nod my
8-bit
head.
stuff, but you put in a lot of cool bass and keyboard and
So it's
synthesizer
like,
sounds.
It's sort of 8-bit, but like newer version of 8-bit. Like,
Oh, and
without,
also you
like,
showed me like
like actual drums.
Daddy's been into deep bass lately. Been rattling the windows.
Loud bass.
you also you showed me like what's his name Bob
Marley, that's
Marley.
right.
Ross.
Bob Ross. There
Bob
you
Ross
go.
is my
Also,
favorite
Bob
artist
Ross.
out
We
there.
are
He's
Bob
so
Ross
calm
fans
to
here.
Ross.
Yeah.
So calm. You have to watch him if you
But
haven't
we
seen
like Bob Marley, man. It's just you're riding along and
Bob Ross.
you're having a good day. Look at the palm trees and get into that nice little flow, right? Positive words, talking about God, and good life and good vibes.
Has to be King of the Hill.
There you go. What else? What else you guys like? What else do you guys like watching? We like Stranger Things, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Lost in Space.
Lost
is
in
another
Space
one.
is
Yeah.
a great one.
Final Space.
Final Space is another one. Yeah.
Except it's like it's not as clean as.
We kind of liked Rick and Morty, but it got a little bit. It kind of. I don't know what happened there.
God.
What's that one song you showed us a few days ago, and it had some awesome synthesizers at the very end of it, though, which wasn't because I want it to be throughout the entire song.
I think I introduced you to Pink Floyd. I think yesterday, right?
What's Pink Floyd?
Rolling around in the car.
Oh yeah.
Wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl,
Seriously.
year after year. Wish you were here. I think of that song sometimes when you guys aren't here. I'm like, oh man.
Wish. Yeah.
Let's just keep talking about nothing. How long can we make this podcast go? Everybody, you're going to get a 4-hour podcast this time. Brace yourself.
Wait, didn't I say that I wanted to edit this one? Don't give it too long, actually.
So tell me why you believe God is real. Why do you believe God is real? Ky first.
You just sort of have to feel, like you have to really believe that God is God. And like if you look like, and then you also have Sir teaching you Jesus. It's also a great
Yeah, but I really want you, before Luke
really
answers
hard
too,
to say.
I really want you guys to always choose your own path. I know I'm going to teach you what I believe, and I'm going to teach you some other beliefs, but I want you guys as you grow up, you're going to have some new thoughts, and you're going to be introduced, and just know that, hey, this is what the Bible says. God, in the Bible, a lot of people have misconception about what the Bible really says, but God is a God He loves freedom of choice. He loves us to choose freely. So I don't want you guys to be forced to believe what I believe in, or force you to go to church or something like that. I want you guys to be able to form your own beliefs. But I think collectively as a family, going through some life and death situations on several points and over extended periods of time, we really were forced to see, is God real or not? So those are real faith builders I think we've experienced. So I like your guys' answer. And Luke shot off right with the Bible. You got anything else? Bible, right on.
Bible.
Hey, science, right there. People say, there you go, the Bible. People say, oh, it's been rewritten so many times, blah blah blah. Incorrect. You gotta know, at least if you're gonna attack the Bible, you gotta make sure to get your facts straight. The Old Testament is written in Hebrew. The New Testament is written in Greek. There's translations from those original root languages. If you really want to get nitpicky, go down and learn those languages and then read the Bible. There's some pretty good translations, and we like to read a couple different translations sometimes if we really want to go deeper in there. But the Bible, it's not made to be complex. It's that Jesus said He wants it to be understood like a child, but we got to go in there and read it. And it's amazing how, if it's true that the devil is real, wouldn't he want us, if that's the most important book written, the instruction manual to life, and it is real, wouldn't the devil want us to think, the Bible sucks, or it's this, or something that it's not? So at least I respect somebody that is like, hey, I don't believe, or I believe in this or that, but if you're not going to believe in the Bible, at least understand it and give it a shot and reach out to God. Because if you know us and you know our story, we try to be as real as possible, and we're telling you right now that God is real. So go for it. Call out to God. What do you got, Ky Hanan? Just Bible. Just Bible. Going back, how could the Bible, few thousands of years, the Old Testament, how could it have survived this long? There's no other book out there or any kinds of writing that has withstood that test of time. And think about all the wars that happened, the medieval times when people got really, going through world wars and everything like that, and the Bible has been preserved, and it's made it. It's pretty crazy. What else you got, guys? What else can we talk about?
Amen.
And we'll say too, hey man, if we don't agree with somebody, we love you. I think, geez, man, a couple of my very, very best friends, my best friend, well, ours my best friend, but in terms of guy best friends, they don't believe what I do exactly. They don't believe in God, and man, we respect the heck out of each other. They're just been amazing friends to me, and I hope I have been to them. And It's been wonderful. So just because you don't agree with somebody, that doesn't mean you should just cut them out, because if I would have done that, I wouldn't have had these amazing friendships. So I can't recommend enough, if you want to continue to grow in your life, we need to make friends not just with people who share the same similarities as us, which is good too. I've really enjoyed myself making friends with people in MMA and stuff, and you guys enjoy making friends in your server for Minecraft and for Fortnite and things like that, right, guys? And at school. But hey, we're not always the same, and I like the uniqueness. We can be different and learn from one another and still respect one another if we disagree, and we don't need to just keep rehashing that disagreement. We can move on to a whole plethora of things that we can connect on and love one another and grow together with. So I think that's all we got today.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm kidding.
Oh yeah, tell us about your YouTube channel, bud. We need to hear about that. Where can they find Cross Comics the Mom?
Mama
What did
Ara
you call
does
it now? Mama Ara has stepped in for the end of the show. What are your thoughts
Check
today?
out my YouTube channel. It's
We're all
Arabelle
advertising.
Hanan YouTube channel and Arabelle's Kitchen Facebook.
Don't forget to unsubscribe from Ky Hanan and only subscribe to our channel.
I don't have many
Subscribe to our
subscribers.
channel.
I'm not getting that much, so you guys aren't going to gain much from me. Hey, Luke Cannon, tell us why you don't like Facebook.
I don't know. Social media weird.
I only like Facebook.
Is that the new way?
because
What about TikTok? You like TikTok?
No.
He's just not a social
Follow us
media.
on our TikTok, Instagram,
I don't do TikTok anymore.
YouTube, Facebook,
I have
and
TikTok,
Facebook.
but
Jeez, you have so many things.
And she's also sells pies, and she sells Filipino food, and
opening up a
she
restaurant.
sells my smiles. You can hire me to come over, and I will smile at you for a minute, and that's a service she provides.
How much do you have to pay for a smile from Sir?
No.
50 cents.
$30.
50 cents.
All right, guys. Well, that's all we got today. Thank you so much for watching. We love you guys. Continue to rise up. Take care.